Hey guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. This is how you get a hold of me if you have any questions. Before you send me an email and you ask for a trial to the room, first of all, I need to know the room's locked. You'd have to really convince me that you want to be in the room and that you can add to the team. Um, Otherwise, we're just not taking new members in right now. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer it. It's tradeandperform@gmail.com. Third of all, the room costs money. It's $279 a month, and that rate will be going up soon. And we're at max capacity for now until I get everyone up and running. And I feel like that we can add more members. We are at as many members as we can handle. So this is just for educational purposes only. Um, so that way, when you email me, if you do, and you're asking for a trial to the room or anything else, you are not shockified when I tell you it's $279 and then I don't hear from you, and neither one of us have to waste our time with with um, sending emails back and forth, which is my preference. So let's get started. So number one, when we were coming to the day, so this is Friday. This is Thursday's range. So we were opening up overnight. We traded completely inside Thursday's range. So looking at the day, I don't like to trade in fair pricing, right? The hardest part to trade on this chart would have been this one area right in here, which is the prior day's point of control. It acts as a magnet, great target in, very difficult area to initiate. You can see how I kept sweeping through this area. What I'm looking at here is called profile, TPO, and volume profile. And you just see that one specific area was very, very difficult to trade in. So, guys, this is what our trading looked like. And you can see overnight as we push down, if you look at the overnight trading, you can see that we opened up an unfair pricing. The most important thing about the unfair pricing coming in overnight is you got to remember, if we open up an unfair pricing, I want to wait till we break below or above. So you can see over here we broke above unfair pricing, backside tested, found responsive buyers and pushed. That's all overnight. I don't trade the overnight, so it doesn't much matter to me other than that's how it works, and it's a good example, right? So then I come in the morning, and again, this is all out of Mind Over Markets, Dalton. I've just adapted it to my own style of using profile, so it's quick and dirty and gives me very specific areas to look in. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to adjust for the overnight price action, right? So when I look at the overnight price action, I'm going to, so we'll just cut it here so we can see what it looked like. So as I'm coming into the open, I can see that this is the top end of unfair pricing, meaning that price is likely to get negotiated there, which is why I want to trade in that area. And that went from here to here. We'll color that a different color so you can see it. Well, today, just for grins, we'll make it dark blue. Okay. This is the bottom area of unfair pricing heading into the morning session. Again, we'll color that blue. And we can see from cheating that we simply never got down to the unfair price in the lower areas. Had we gotten down here, I'd have been interested in trading in this area. So now I'm interested for the first half of the day primarily on how I can trade in, how I can use this area to trade in. Now, there's something that's very, very important here. You'll notice that there's really no upside resistance in here, and there's no unfair pricing on top. So the important area to look in here would have been the single prints right up here. They're worth less, hence I didn't mark them off because they are in fair pricing, but we pushed to the single print area. And if you look above and below, if you look at the unfair pricing that took place, because this still carries weight from overnight, it's harder to push through fair pricing and easier to push through. It's harder to push through unfair pricing and easier to push through fair pricing. So the upside bias was easy to understand, and that was the easier direction to push through. Besides, when we have a trend day, which we had on Friday, the market usually likes to be an inside balance, and the natural target would have been the prior day's point of control, followed by the single prints up on top, right? So the way that looked when we came in, so the way that translates is I'm going to use the 24 tick NQ chart to do this example, but it works the same way in ES. Come to the end here, and what you will see. So these lines. These are coming off another chart. These are my 5-minute alerts. But so if you'll look, this is the 8:30 open. Here I'll mark it right here. I'm on Central Time. Market opens right here, and you'll see that once you plug in the overnight information, see how we opened up inside, right? That's 8:30. We opened up inside fair uh, unfair pricing. I don't want to do anything until I get below or I get above. And then what I wanted to do is get above, backside test, and push, or I want it to get below, backside test, and push, right? To either targets above or targets below, and I want to stay out of the black areas inside of there. And then, so this is for my team members. You can see here we had triangle down, purple bar, star down, and then the pink triangle up. These are all order flow indicators that we can see without having to look at a bajillion numbers. We know what they look like just by the color of the bar. Instead of having to read 60 billion numbers, it's very, in my opinion, very difficult way to read order flow. So that was the long right out of the gate, and you just had to trust the setup, right? So purple bar, triangle up, that's star down, very high odds setup, and you can see that it pushed for the volume point of control, and it never quite made it to the single prints till later in the day. And so the reason why, so you could have said, well, Simon, what about the fair pricing that we pushed all the way through? So if you're not in my room, you're not going to understand what I say next. But if you look at this, guys, this was the push off the open, right? So if you look at the response at 12:43, two things happened, right? So first, what we would have liked to have had, if I'm going to trade in that fair pricing area, what I would have liked to have had would have been, and this is on ES or on NQ, this is the low, and actually you can see it right here. I take it back. Actually misses. So what I'm looking at is this push right here. And what I would have liked it to have done is push back into the 62 retrace, specifically the 50-60. But they usually grab the retail at 50, stop them out, run to the 62, and then get this push out. Team members, you can also see, so I want to highlight this, even though I did not take it in the room. You can see when we get the purple bar with the plus sign up, this was in the top of the channel, so we don't want to take it, but you can see when it got stopped out. If you were aggressive on this, well, either way, aggressive entry was on the bar with the white circle on it. Non-aggressive was on the plus sign up. And then again, you can see what we would have wanted is for that to get stopped out yet again. And it didn't. It actually survived. If you took that trade out of the bottom of the channel on that apex trap, that was a really strong setup, right? That I will. So if I'm going to trade in fair pricing, I want to take my strongest setups, guys. So that's how you delineate that. So the most conservative guys, the guys are like, I got to have unfair pricing. They're going to have a very high win rate and a lot of success, but they're going to spend a lot of time being bored. This is a valid setup, right? We're in supernova. It's held the retrace. It's pulled back, and that trap generates a ton of P&L. In this case, you rolled from like 15, let's just call it 8, all the way up to 15,895. It was 100 points of extension. Okay, now you'll notice we're this 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, we like to redraw the levels, right? So what I would have done in that case, now we come back, and we're going to let the chart do the easy part of the work for us. So we're here. And so since I remember this, yes, this moved around a little bit, but not a lot, right? So when we're up here, this is, let's see, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11. So when we're at 11, that's 11 a.m., I'm going to redraw my levels. So now I'm just going to overdraw these from here to here. I'm going to draw from here to here. I'm going to put those as pink. We'll put them as purple. It's easier to see. There we go. So that's the single print area from this morning. It's intraday unfair pricing. And then this became my afternoon unfair pricing. I'm going to make it purple as well. I forgot that purple came across a lot better. Okay. And so first of all, you can see we rejected, came down into it, came into the single prints, found responsive buyers, and then shot the stream, right? So what does that look like on the 24? So, didn't copy it over. Let's see. It's going to be chart number 17. Let's see why we're not copying over. F5, chart drawings. And we'll just like this out. It's 17. Bob's your uncle. There you go. So you got to remember this purple area got created after this blue line right here, right? So again, you'll notice we came up, these were the single prints, these double white lines, if you remember the single prints, but in fair pricing, not unfair pricing. We rejected out of the single prints, which is fine. It makes sense. It's just about pushing to where the highest odds locations are. There was actually a 5-minute trigger to the short side, which is a separate indicator that's not on this chart right now. We roll down, and if you were patient and you waited, right? See how you got the star down and then the pink bar up? So guys, remember I told y'all, because of the way these bars lined up and where this point of control was, the triangle up won't get generated. If it looks like there should have been a triangle up like this and it's missing, attack. And that's where you should have attacked right there. Multiple people in the room took this long. And it's a perfect display of how to shoot that black area. The goal was back to the unfair pricing on the other side. So your long would have been this 15,805. This is a little bit larger stop than normal because the swing was down there. I still would have used a 2-bar stop max. And for those of you who are looking to do perfect, it just doesn't retrace, right? It's 1 bar, it goes or it doesn't go, right? That's, for me, the perfect setup. And then we ran all the way across. You can see your entry would have been roughly, let's just call it for easy math, 15,805. And it would have taken you to 15, let's just call it 885 for easy math, for 80 points, $1,600 a contract. And guys, that's why I was looking for longs in the afternoon. So if you apply that and you go take your Team TnP layouts, go to your profile charts, look where the unfair pricing is. That's exactly how we want it to set up. The only day it really had any failure was on Thursday, and there was lots of reasons for it that we've already covered in the room. But if you did this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, you had great days. Thursday, you were down. And again, when we have those large gap ups, it just puts everything topsy-turvy, which is why I suggest being patient. So anyways, my name is Simon. I'm a Trade and Perform coaching. I hope that helped. That's why I look for contra and unfair pricing, and that is the theme of the room. Guys, let's go have a great week. I will talk to you all later.